Meghan Markle here.
Okay, I don't think it's enough. It should have been pushed out long ago. Historian and author Andrew Loney weighed in on the timing of Prince Andrew giving up all of his titles and what else may come out about the former Duke of York in the near future. 1 minute and 40 seconds. Let's listen.
He's saying that, for the sake of the country and the monarchy, I'm going now. Well, he should have done that a long time ago. They should have pushed him out. It's happening now because there's been an increasing amount of publicity coming out. Almost every day there's some scandal about Andrew. We've had a couple of stories of leaked emails, which I think have come from Ghislaine Maxwell, showing that he remained in contact, and Sarah Ferguson remained in contact with Epstein long after they claimed to have cut those links. And I think the worry is that there's more stuff still to come out. There clearly is more material from the Epstein papers. The Virginia Giuffre's book itself doesn't have anything new, but it's clearly a reminder of his relationship with her. We've got a book called Blue Butterfly coming out next month, another victim's memoir.
Wow.
We're likely to get victims on Capitol Hill beginning to speak. And so I think that the idea was they need to nip this in the bud. And the problem is, I think it's too little and too late. I mean, nothing really is
presumably
changing.
they should have nipped it in the bud after the Newsnight interview in 2019, no?
Is that the case?
No, absolutely
No.
not. Fed those lines.
Well,
drip,
I
drip,
don't.
drip, drip,
it's
drip.
like-
Well, exactly. I mean, I think, that he's saying that, for the sake of the country and the monarchy, I'm going now. Well, he should have done that a long time ago. They should have pushed him out.
Who do you think is behind this change in tune? Is it the king that's backing this, or is it Prince William?
It's Prince William. I think we're in a transitional period. I mean, King Charles is actually very ill, and William is beginning to...
It seems like William using this pedophile thing. I guess that will be his life mission. If he does something about it, they probably, men in gray suit or whoever he's taking advice from, probably pushing him to go after Andrew's title so they could give him credit for it. And then he will try to do the same to Harry. But the thing he probably forget, if he's taking titles away, he's putting himself in danger as well, which means his position as the heir may not be secure. People will start saying, okay, if you take Andrew's title, Harry's title, who are you? You gotta go too. So this is what I think they're trying to, prop him up, make him feel good about himself because he wants to have credit somewhere because he tried to copy his brother, but it always falls flat. So they're probably propping him up to take credit for it, to take Andrew's title. And then once he does that, the ripple effect will start. As far as I'm concerned, Charles is done. Okay? He waited throughout his life to get here. And once he's dead, he's done. He already reached his pinnacle, his goal in life to be where he's at now. So after that, he doesn't care. Oh my God.
Call the shots. He's much more ruthless than his father, and I think he can see the huge reputational damage that's been done. I think, again, one of the reasons the timing is that people are beginning to criticize King Charles for being weak and not doing anything, and I think they realize they needed to do something. I have to say, I don't think it's enough.
Let's see here. A king abdicated for the love of his American lady. He was banished, ostracized decades, never forgiven, and did love his country to dying day. Harry and Meghan, same. So I can't make sense of any of Andrew's favors. Andrew Loney is great. Check his podcast out. He hasn't given... That's what I heard from one of the reporters. He didn't give up anything. He hasn't given them up just he won't use them. Okay, he won't use them. Question, are the British public still paying for him? How come he isn't a member of the general public but remains a royal? Well, Andrew will always be a royal, no matter what. But the title, like one of the videos said, he will always be Prince Andrew because his mother was once a monarch, right? So that will remain. But the Duke and whatever other titles, that could be taken away. Imagine thinking a man parking his title away temporarily is enough punishment for abusing young girls. What a cult the royal family is. What a country. Alright. Whatever is here. These two. It started with his mom paying £12 million to someone he claimed he had never met. The British media and tabloid play a big part in this cover-up. They are the ones who wouldn't report on it. All their deflection trying to cover for the institutional grifters. Yeah, that I agree. And this is why they were using Harry and Meghan. Apparently, 2,000 girls were abused by Epstein, Maxwell and Andrew, and the biggest pedophile ring. Anyone else wonder why the rest of the getting off scot-free? Perhaps because we will recognize their names from film, business, heaven forbid, politics. Okay, this is why I've said the list that Maxwell has. Okay, the little black book. They have all sort of people from business, politics, television, you name it, entertainment. They have it all. All right, next tweet from Sky News. Breaking, the royal family believe the allegation against Prince Andrew should be examined in the proper and fullest ways, according to a Buckingham Palace source. They probably have something already manufactured so they could curate it and put a whole bunch of lies to the public. Let's listen. This one is long, 4 minutes, 7 seconds. Screenshot.
We start with breaking news, and a Buckingham Palace source has claimed that the royal family believe allegations against Prince Andrew should be examined in the proper and fullest ways. It was announced on Friday that he was relinquishing the use of his titles and honours. The former Duke of York has always denied any wrongdoing over his links with the disgraced financier Jeffrey Epstein. Well, let's bring in our royal correspondent, Rhiannon Mills. Rhiannon, just talk us through what the palace are saying. It sounds very much like they are hanging him out to dry.
So this comes after what was a very dramatic statement that we had on Friday evening that in some ways came out of the blue, but I think shows that in the end, the family have had enough of these stories around Prince Andrew, Jeffrey Epstein, allegations from Virginia Giuffre. Now, I've been speaking to palace sources today who say that, look, they don't want it to look like the royal family is looking inward. They realise that these are very serious allegations that have been made against Prince Andrew. And as a result, the royal family believe they should be examined in the proper and fullest ways. They said that what lies at the heart of this are the broader allegations and the issues that have been highlighted. Now, in some ways, these stories have been dripped out over many years now. I first remember reporting on this back in 2015 in terms of allegations made by Virginia Giuffre. But the palace have said that these are being looked at as very serious and grave concerns. Now, in terms of what we saw on Friday, I'm also told that the fact that Prince Andrew released what was seen to be a personal statement appeared to be the swiftest way of what they saw as a necessary outcome. And the reason for that, I think, is because, yes, they were probably anticipating more stories in the Sunday papers this weekend, which is what happened, but also that book written by Virginia Giuffre before her death earlier this year, that was due to be released this week. Copies of it actually have appeared in some of the bookshops today. It was due to be released tomorrow. So again, those really difficult headlines, I think, for the royal family just keep on coming. It really hasn't shut down the allegations and the stories swirling around it in the way that they would have hoped.
And of course, it is our headline story this hour. It is distracting from what the royal family would rather be talking about today, which is the king making a poignant visit to the synagogue at the centre of the attack 3 weeks ago.
And that, again, is what palace sources have said to me, is there have been other quotes circulating saying that the royal family were expecting more painful days ahead. This is not about self-pity, they say, within the royal family. This is about it being a really unwelcome distraction when it comes to certain members of the royal family, so Queen Camilla, the Duchess of Edinburgh as well, focusing on supporting survivors of sexual violence. That's not easy when you've got Prince Andrew facing these accusations, albeit ones that he denies. And then, of course, today, with the King up in Manchester, a really poignant visit for him, talking to the survivors of that attack at the synagogue. And also later on this week as well, on Friday, it was announced that the King is going to be the first monarch to pray publicly with the Pope this week for 500 years. This is a huge moment for a man who's been heavily focused on his interfaith work.
I'm sorry, I'm laughing at this because the royal family, they just love to mask things. As the negative tabloid is saying the BS that's been going on for decades, centuries within their family, and then they go in the opposite way to balance it out. Look at me, I'm gonna be praying with the Pope, I'm gonna be praying with the Islam or something like that, the Muslims. It's just back and forth, the same way they just said where elected officials saying, oh, they need to go to the palace, they don't deal with what happened with the royal family, and then the royal family is saying this needs to be investigated to the fullest. It's just back and forth. They're not gonna do anything. It's up to the people. At the end of the day, it is up to the people. All right, let's finish with this.
And yet the distractions continue. I think what's also interesting is that while Prince Andrew isn't publicly going to use his titles, he hasn't entirely been stripped of them, which is why you have got some MPs saying, look, more needs to be done to enact kind of the parliamentary business that needs to take place to take his peerages away from him, but also the King could take away some of his ceremonial honours as well. So I think this isn't entirely going away. Yes, the royal family have acted in what I would say is a very dramatic way that I wasn't entirely anticipating, but some would say it's still not enough.
And the thing is that after the Queen had paid for the settlement between Virginia Giuffre and Andrew, is that they were the priests, the one who did Harry and Meghan's wedding, was coming out to defend Andrew. And it seems like Andrew wanted to come out to the public again, continue as if he didn't do anything wrong. But I think there was some pushback. But anyway, I don't think Andrew really understand the gravity. Damn, this picture. The gravity of his action, because he'd never been reprimanded for or being punished for the things that he's done. They never understand it. All right. King Charles will visit the Vatican this week and pray with the Pope. The optic of him praying with the Pope while the world reads Virginia Giuffre's account of his brother's alleged abuse, there aren't enough stained glass windows to hide that kind of what. That's what I was just saying. They like to do the opposite of things to create the facade of things. Oh my God. Are you responsible for what your siblings do? Interesting mindset. But the thing is that not only I understand this person, but there are history of the royal family doing those kind of things. Charles with that other pedophile that passed, I forgot his name. Okay, I'm not the head of the public institution, and I'm not in charge of whether my sibling received taxpayers funded perks. It's really that simple. You're simple. Good response. To be fair, I'm impressed a Highland cow has so much to say. There's that. People are laughing. Okay, how is it to do with the king? Oh, they are brothers. Andrew is part of the royal family. This is the thing here. The monarch is the head of the royal family. And then the royal family do not want the rest of the family to be independent from the royal family. It seems like it's only the UK royal family that's like that. And this is why they took HRH away from Harry. So Harry does not associate with the royal family over there. So whatever anybody within the institution and the royal family does, it reflects on the royal family as a whole. So Charles needs to take charge of his family. But the thing with him, with his son, Harry, he already detached himself from Harry because Harry will not give up his wife for them. Okay, and I think that was one of the main reason they took the HRH away from him. Yes, they did not want him to use it commercially, but also when he goes around the world or something like that, they don't call him Royal Highness, because if that was the case, it will associate with the UK royal family. Okay, so they're not taking Andrew's titles, and he's still under the roof of the institution. So there is a connection here. Unlike Harry, okay, Harry is independent from the rest of his family, and whatever he does, it's for himself only, and he's not receiving taxpayers' money. He is self-funded. Okay, so that's my take on it. You guys could think otherwise. True, but the optics were never going to be great. King Charles stood in church and said his vows at his first wedding, knowing he would be breaking them, knowing he was being watched by the world, knowing he will one day be head of the very church he was stood in. That's a very good point. What about Charles' long friendship with pedophile Jimmy Savile? That's the word I was trying to say. Yeah, that one. They need to arrest him now. The whole shebang smells rotten to the core, and nothing has changed for Andrew. He will be exactly the same position, but behind closed doors from the public, the complicity is worth. Alright, next tweet. It's crazy. They're playing the people for a fool. Going forward, Harry should be careful with his cousin. Sorry. I know he's been close to Beatrice, but I just won't risk it. Any connection to what's happening with the other royals is dangerous going forward. Desperate people do desperate things. Yeah. Okay, I didn't think of it in that way. Yes. Because right now, there was at one point I felt like they wanted the sister. They pulled the sisters, the York sisters, back into the fold. Not so much with not Beatrice, the firstborn. She was already in. She wasn't going anywhere. But Beatrice, it seems like wanted to branch out, but they pull her back in. And they probably frame her in some shape or form. And now they probably will want her to do something for them. And like she said, desperate people do desperate things. They might even force her to do some ill thing toward you know who, because she was close to Harry. So yes, I agree with this. Harry should keep his family completely away from his little family. Okay, greed did get them in the end. Let's see here. Epstein bankrolled Sarah Ferguson for 15 years, and she took daughters to celebrate his release from prison and U.S. astonishing email claims. In the previously unseen emails, Epstein revealed Fergie was so desperate to cozy up to him that she was the first to celebrate his release from jail with her 2 daughters in tow. You could see even in that picture. I believe this is Beatrice, the youngest. I apologize. I made a mistake with the names. I'm not too familiar with them. Whenever I say Beatrice, I think I meant Eugenie, the youngest daughter, Eugenie. I think that's her name, Princess Eugenie, the youngest daughter, but not the oldest. You could see she's not too happy with some stuff here, but they force her to do. But the other sister, I'm not so sure. She probably already deeply involved. Wow. I know some of you said stop making excuses. I'm just saying how I see it. Sorry, I meant Eugenie. Okay. Yeah, the youngest is Eugenie. Okay, support our podcast and subscribe. Okay. He's close to Eugenia. Sorry, I got them mixed up. Yep. His closeness with Eugenie has always made... Okay. Okay, let me see. Who's Eugenie? Princess Eugenie. Eugenie. Let me see if I'm talking about the same one. Okay, so yeah, that's the one I was thinking of. Okay, the Eugenie, I felt like she was somewhat want to distance herself, but they keep on pulling her back in. That's the one I was thinking of. But the other sister, was the other sister? Sibling Beatrice. This one, I felt like she was always in there. She was always in there. The mess, the husband of hers who left that architect to be with her. probably wish he never did. But anyway, back to this. He's close to Eugenia. Okay, sorry, I got them mixed up. Yep, his closeness with Eugenie has always made me uneasy. She may not have known what her dad was doing when she was a kid, but as an adult, she found out about the allegation and went along with her mom's shenanigans. If she was okay visiting Epstein, she's complicit in all this. I don't know what to say about that. She was the only one I felt like she was trying to move away, but they keep on pulling her back in. I don't know why, okay? I didn't even know about this, that she was close with Epstein and all of that. I didn't know. But I always felt like she was trying to move away from things, but they kept on pulling her back in. Right, they were close, but I've seen nothing that would suggest they remained so. It was obvious the way the York sisters consort with Morgan and Clarkson, hugging them, etc. They can't really be trusted. They are full of self-interest and doublespeak. That, what she's talking about, I actually brought it up in one of the podcasts. I'll show you the picture that I used when I brought it up in one of my videos. I think this is where those guys starting to put a plan at play, and they needed her to come in. And I think they have them somewhere. I'm telling you, this whole thing is about manipulation and framing them and all of that. In that aspect, when they went to lunch, I felt like there was something that was said to start something else. And this is why Harry and Meghan need to keep all of his families away from him until this thing is done with. I think he's close to Eugenie, not Beatrice. And Beatrice, that's something I sort of know about her, but not too many people talking about. Let me leave it alone, okay? It's the other one, the older sister that I think is more involved. The Eugenie one, the youngest one, I think they keep on pulling her back in, but she was trying to move away, but the institution, men in gray suit, whoever those people are, keep on pulling her back in. That's what I think. I have no evidence of it, but I'm going with my feeling, okay? Alright, wait, what? That's Daily Mail. I'm not gonna click on it. Epstein bankrolled South Ferguson for 15 years. Okay, so that's the same headline. Someone retweeted it. Okay, that's the same headline again. If the girls did go and they were over 18 at that time, adults, then they should face individual consequences as well. Also, they are apparently included in the scandal with the Chinese spy. I'm not aware of all of this. I don't know why. I truly do not know why. But Eugenie, I have a different feeling about her. I have a different feeling toward her. But unlike the other sister. Okay, I read that most of their business partners are linked to their father. Believe me, they'll keep a low profile. I don't even think they'll want to be associated with the war events from now on. Too much attention. This really nasties up the York girls. I don't know why I feel slightly different about Eugenie. I don't know why. This really nasty up the York girls. How old were they? Did they have a choice, or were they minors following the lead of their mothers? If they were adults with a say, then they are just as bad as their parents. It's easy for us to say it like that. In reality, yes, I agree with this 100%. But there's so much that's going on with the royal family, scare tactic. All of this, I think, started from the moment the Queen father died. And then these people bring in the politician into their circle, men in gray suit. And then ever since then, it's just manipulation, framing, espionage, this kind of thing. It's very sad. Someone estimated that they were at least over 18, just as bad as they have only known that proximity. And you see how they're doing with Harry. Okay? I think they were trying to do the same thing with Harry, but they couldn't. Unlike the girls, where Harry is a boy, a guy, a man, he could fly without having the same kind of fear as the women. Okay, there is still some security issue for Harry when he flew, when he was in the royal family. But unlike the women, it's completely different. Okay, there's the same type of security aspect that Harry will face, the girls will face as well, and then there's more for a woman, if you know what I mean. So the things that Harry was able to do, the women will not be able to do. So they have to comply under the royal family rules. And meanwhile, the head of the royal is shady as well. Oh my God. It's hard to explain. Just see the kind of fear, the nonsense they put Harry through, and multiply it. Not even multiply. Put a fraction of what Harry is going through. They will do the same thing to the girls as well. This is why they do not want Harry to leave. They do not want the girls to leave. Oh my God. There's so much that I'm saying. I don't even think I'm explaining because it's so screwed up. Not too long ago in one of my videos, I explained how Charles had sent someone to donate to Harry's charity, which was Santa Bali at that time. And when Harry found out the guy wasn't too trustworthy, Harry mentioned it to his father that the guy is a bit shady. So what I think happened in this instance, Charles, it's like every chances these royals have, because everybody's doing shady stuff, they are framing their kids just to throw them under the bus as scapegoat. One of the things that Charles did was that particular person to donate to Harry's charity. When Harry found out that the way the guy wanted to donate the money, it seems like the guy wanted Harry to come and hang out with him, with his friends, probably take pictures, and maybe those pictures will probably be used at a later date to whatever nonsense the royal family probably are in, and then they could use those pictures to frame Harry, in my humble opinion. But Harry saw it. Harry was like, no, you say you're gonna donate to my charity, that's all it is. I'm not gonna hang out with you because this is about charity, okay, the children. And once he found out, he warned his father. And how I was able to find out, I think there was an article that was written about it, and Charles was in some sort of a mess, and Charles was gonna use Harry for that same, I think the same person was in it. I might have the link in that particular video, so go check it out. And when Charles was trying to throw Harry under the bus, Harry was like, no, whatever. Harry cleared it up and said, look, when this guy was gonna donate to my charity, I warned you about him, not to do business with him because he saw he was a bit shady. So that particular experience with Charles and Harry, I can see the York families, okay, the adults will use the same tactic to frame their kids as well. So maybe the York girls may not be as quick or be intuitive like Harry is to say, look, I'm not gonna do this, I'm not gonna do that, or whatever. Or if they already frame them or they comply with their parents, they probably say, oh, this is for business. Meanwhile, the parents already know intentionally how they're gonna manipulate their daughters in the future. So that's what I think is happening. And this is why I'm afraid for William's kids as well. Oh my God. It's a whole bunch of mess over there. It's a mess after mess. Harry was too smart for the institution. This is why they had to kick him out. He was too smart. They were trying to do all sort of things to him, and he was able to get away with it. And when he was younger, they abused his pictures so much, and he was a young kid. He was doing young kid stuff, so it no longer matter anymore because he correct himself. So, but anyway, I think this is the thing that's happening with the York sisters. They trying to throw the younger royals under the bus, so the older one who were actually doing the unethical behavior with minors and all sort of stuff, with money and all of these things, they do not want the spotlight to be on them. They're throwing their kids under the bus. I don't know about Beatrice. Beatrice is the oldest, the one that looks like the father. Okay, what's the father name? Andrew. Not that one. Eugenie, I think, is a bit more. I think she was trying to get away from stuff, but I think they keep on pulling her back in. Maybe some scare tactic. Okay, all of the thing that I'm saying here, it's not written anywhere. I'm just telling you my opinion based on things that had happened to Harry, and I think I could apply it to the York sisters and probably in the future for William's kids as well. So the older sister that looks like Andrew, I think she's a bit more involved because there are some stuff I've seen in the past. I never report on it, and I just put a post-it on it. She might be slightly more involved than the other sister. Okay? So, let's get back to the original recording, and I think I'm done, by the way. Alright, so that's it. Next tweet, and I think I'm done with the royal family kind of thing. This is a JTB TikTok video that I have, and I kept on pushing it back. Alright, so let's see this here. Maybe I did share it already. Leticia Pastova, a fake doctor. Yeah, I covered this. I think I put it twice. I covered this already. Alright, so I have things to do. Let me start at least editing this video because I have place to go later. So please take a moment to let's do a prayer. Prayer for truth. I don't know. A prayer for truth can. Okay, let's look for an image. I want a small one. Okay, let's do this one. A prayer for living our God's truth. God, thank you for the wisdom you're giving us through your word. Help me to take what I've learned and put it into practice in my daily life. Let my action reflect your love and guide me as I strive to live in a way that honors you. May your peace fill my heart as I follow your truth and trust you with each step I take. In Jesus' name, amen. Alright, so that is it. Please take a moment to subscribe, like, and share. If you want to support this channel, there's a PayPal link and a Cash App link in the description. You could donate. Those who have donated, thank you. Alright, so that is it. Thank you for watching.
It is a great privilege to be with all of you today.
You know, we ask for forgiveness and please come back.
As you saw me find the love and happiness that I'd hoped for all my life. You are all in this together. And if I may speak personally, we are all in this together. Because asking for help was one of the best decisions that I ever made. You will be continually amazed how life changes for the better.